heritage as a witness of a bygone but still present past is often used in a wide cultural spectrum, whether it be music, cinema, or video games. Explore heritage through diverse videos covering architecture, history, and even video games. Welcome to Video Game History Investigation. Welcome to the heritage and video game analysis of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. The primary aspect of this mysterious people in Breath of the Wild, of which only remnants from a distant past remain, still carried by legends that mention some characters within the game, had caught the attention of many players in 2017. Indeed, several areas contain remnants of this ancient Sonau civilization, whether through the presence of imposing mythological statues in the form of birds, snakes, or warthogs, as well as glyphs here and there, or infrastructures altered by time. All these visual elements contribute to the construction of the story through the principle of level design, which allows the player's imagination to establish their own narrative, as designer Makoto Yonezu states in the book Masterwork. Of course, the creative team behind the game guides the player through the imaginary world presented to them. The animosities are tied to Hyrule's history, a fictional kingdom. The dragon symbolizes courage, the owl wisdom, and the boar strength. These symbols can be found in many episodes of the series, notably in The Great Ocarina of Time released in 1998. However, these architectures within a video game do indeed have an inspiration in our reality that the game avoids presenting, but which the curious player can grasp the origin of. In Zelda Tears of Kingdom, the player finally embarks on a quest where they uncover the long-lost members of this mysterious people, like the wise King Rao and his courageous sister Mineru. They traverse various intriguing locations linked to this ancient civilization, whether soaring through the celestial islands in the sky or exploring the vast expanse of the Hyrule Plateau. So, what real-life inspirations did the creators of the game draw from? Whether it be the buildings visited or the mythological statuary used, the whole draws from a heritage vocabulary influenced by Mesoamerican civilizations, that is to say, a homogeneous cultural ensemble located in the southern half of North America, in short, the southern half of Mexico, a part of Central America, from Belize to El Salvador, to the Pacific coast of Costa Rica and Nicaragua, excluding de facto the more southern areas, including the Inca Empire. Various civilizations occupied the region from the 2nd millennium BC to the end of Spanish rule in the 17th century. We can mention several civilizations in this cultural ensemble that inspired the game, such as the Olmecs, which can be seen notably in The Mysterious Cities of Gold, a popular animated series from the 80s, with a completely fictionalized version of this people who actually existed. In the animated series, they are portrayed as an extraterrestrial people, but the Olmec people actually dominated a territory that nowadays corresponds to the state of Tabasco, Mexico, all the way to southern Costa Rica between 1300 and 500 BC. However, the game seems to be more inspired by two other empires, the Mayans and the Aztecs. The Mayans, situated from southern Mexico to present-day Honduras, were an empire documented in surviving codices despite destruction by Spanish missionaries during the conquest. The Mayans, for mysterious reasons, had to resort to intensive corn agriculture that depleted their water resources, triggering famines and eventually wars and epidemics, leading them to abandon their city around the 9th century. In this context, we can see a resonance in the Sonau ruins of the game, which are also abandoned, now prisoners of a vegetation that they had tamed yesterday and which now tightly encircle their monument for eternity. Another detail is the presence of minerals from a powerful, shining worm on the clothes of King Rauru, the first king of Hyrule in the game's mythology, but also one of the last living descendants of the Sonau with his sister, as Ganondorf recalls in this kinematics. Indeed, this ore found on golems, guardians within temples, on celestial islands as well, resembles the death masks that could also be found among the Mayans, usually made of jade. Other Mesoamerican civilizations have also been at the heart of the creation process of the game universe, as can be seen with the Aztecs. Especially concerning the weapons found in the game, originating from destroyed golems, they share many similarities with Aztec white weapons, such as the Macua Eluites. long wooden handle measuring 70 cm in length, expertly sharpened on both sides with volcanic obsidian, creating edges as sharp as glass. But much more than weapons or simple devices, the game also draws on a rich heritage of existing and very real buildings, intertwining virtual and physical worlds. The most significant influence, because the most visible, is the use of massive buildings both to allow the player's imagination to wander in austere, unsettling, and terribly intriguing places. The contributions of real heritage here are numerous, some of which can be located such as the Thunder Temple within the Gerudo Desert. Similar to a very real temple, the El Tajin Temple, known as the Pyramid of Niches of the Toltec civilization in northern Veracruz, Mexico. Building recognizable by its terraces, pierced with several openings, as we can see before its restoration in this photo from 1913 and nowadays classified as a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1992. It is not surprising that El Tajin was chosen by the game creators because it means thunder or lightning in Totonac, which is not a random choice here to represent the Gerudo people's Thunder Temple with its powerful and electrifying significance in the game world. The Aztec civilization often references mythical animals shared with other Mesoamerican cultures, adding a distinctive element. Quetzalcoatl, also known as Kukulkan, is a famous feathered serpent in the game, resembling a dragon. If the dragon is a myth shared by the West and the East, here we have a focus on the reuse of a religious myth, the famous Mesoamerican creator god Quetzalcoatl. Quetzalcoatl, the creator god linked to wind and Venus, also guarded arts and knowledge. He is one of the most human gods in the Aztec pantheon. He is the god who precisely allowed the culture of corn, but also the god who gives life by pouring his blood on the bones of humans. Hence the quite common practice of human sacrifice among the Aztecs. This representation of the feathered serpent god is numerous in the game. It can be found on temples, on the edge, as a weapon, and already in Breath of the Wild also many times. In Tears of Kingdom, we see a bold reuse of this myth in its integration into certain landscapes such as the darkened woods that are now visitable in broad daylight, allowing us to distinguish several figures, notably the famous stone serpent dragon that roams the outskirts of the area. Another source of inspiration for the game's geoglyphs is the ancient Nazca geoglyphs found in Peru, paying homage to the pre-Columbian artistry and culture of South America. Of course, the game is also a love letter to Asian heritage, and in Breath of the Wild, several areas were already nods to the Asian continent, especially to Japanese religious culture. Other symbols related to Buddhism are also visible, such as the lotus in the form of flowers, sculptures, or circles drawn in sand or gravel, especially within temples. These forms are related to Zen Buddhism. Shapes create movement, like a water drop circle. Circles found in temples or sanctuaries. And they are also the representation of Enzo, in Japanese circle, which symbolizes the circle of life going from emptiness to awakening that renews endlessly. Endless like the game's logo, with two serpents devouring themselves in circles like Ouroboros, the mythical Serpent King symbolizing the eternal cycle of life, wisdom, and immortality. So we will have to go to the end of the game to get the answer to the choice of this curious symbol. An Asian heritage element stands out in the dark woods like scattered remains on an archaeological site, adding intrigue and depth to the setting. The expansive area with stones on the ground captivates the player's gaze. We realize that the building is now destroyed, and only these walls are remnants of a once glorious past. The Cambodian city of Angkor Thom, with its vast temples, including the renowned 12th century Angkor Wat, was once forgotten, but now stands as a legendary religious monument from the Middle Ages, captivating those who constructed it. The site gains increasing popularity as it gains recognition from numerous travelers, including the academic traveler Pierre Loti, who explored it in the early 20th century and later penned a book detailing his captivating journey and experiences there. The tiles are felted with something soft that crushes underfoot, spreading a smell of musk and droppings. And, with the rustling of the arrival, now added are small sharp cries that spread out before us in those distant dark scissors. The flickering torch as it passes illuminates the dark grey walls, revealing an inextricable melee of warriors gesticulating furiously in the shadows. All along the way, an uninterrupted bas-relief unfolds the endless view of battles. Thousands of fierce fighters, massive armored elephants, terrifying monsters, and powerful war chariots in the epic battle. This journey recounts the discovery of the site, including the excavations carried out by the French School of the Far East in colonial Indochina, which highlighted this vast monumental complex influenced by Hindu and joyful Buddhist influences of the Khmer Kingdom. If the 5 characteristic towers of the Khmer monument are not distinguishable, the baluster windows in sandstone and the columns used in Hindu and in Buddhist architecture are characteristic. High details and great nods from the game creators to these vast monuments, the omnipresence of nature that has taken hold on the monuments of the ancient Sonau civilization. And how can one not see a nod to many of the Angkorian buildings also taken over by the jungle, surrounded by frangipani and other cheese trees, gripping the monuments, the statues with their powerful roots. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to subscribe, like, and give a thumbs up to help boost the video's ranking and show your support for the cause. Your engagement is greatly appreciated. Thank you for your time and company. Looking forward to catching up with you soon.